Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report, round 2. We talked about Jason Tatum in the first video. Yeah. Josue Pavon here by my side. We're about to be off to New York for the second half of a back-to-back. But the Celtics might need to dig into their bench. They're planning to start Al Horford tomorrow. That might change. It did change in Miami, Orlando, that back-to-back. So I wouldn't be stunned if we hear tomorrow that Horford's got a sore back and he's not going to play in this game. So that makes the bench all the more important. This game set a tone by playing 9 minutes between the first and second quarters with Jason Tatum. You had Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser, Grant Williams, as well as Malcolm Brogdon, who goes 9 for 10 in his best game with the Celtics yet. He's leading that unit. I think he's raising guys' level. And then, of course, you have this two-man game with Jason Tatum that made them all the more dynamic there. They outscored the Bulls by 8 points over that stretch.
He's a bucket right now. He's a bucket. He just had that look in his eye where he was going to attack and he was going to, carve up the defense and also bring guys along, which I think that's what makes Malcolm Brogdon so valuable. I mean, we've been saying this for weeks now, and this is his best game as a Celtic, no question. And I think for this second unit, they need that. Obviously, after Brogdon, after Grant Williams, it thins out a bit. So I think that energy and that approach carries over. I think it's a little contagious in a sense, right? Guys kind of just knowing where they're supposed to be, and Malcolm Brogdon just being the guy who kind of just is in charge of that, right? He's like order of that part of the game, especially when the entire bench was in with Jason Tatum. But still, I mean, 4 guys off the bench playing a lot of minutes, a lot of valuable minutes, and they definitely held their own. Yeah,
and it gives you options, right? More Horford and less Cornett in that Wednesday game. In this game, you ease off Horford a little bit with that group. Ease off Brown, Smart, White. Hauser now 12 of 21 from 3 to start this year. He's been super impressive. And then, of course, you got Grant Williams doing what he does on both ends of the floor. Not his best game here, but still solid. It's a dynamic group. They're versatile. They're connected. And when Tatum's on the floor, and they did go more Tatum in this game with that group, they're outscoring opponents by a decent amount. I think it's plus 16 right now with no Tatum on the floor. I believe they're outscoring opponents without Brown and Tatum. We've seen that look at times. What's allowing this bench to be so successful beyond Brogdon?
Beyond Brogdon, I would just say just offensively in the sense of how they're running their sets right now. I just think that they're just doing a really good job of reading the defense, in my opinion. And they don't panic. I mean, the Bulls went on their run. They got really close, and the Celtics, they held their own. So I think that's a sign of their character, right? That's a sign of this team. And again, to bounce back the way they did, an overtime loss for Joe Mazzulla, I mean, that's all you can really ask for, is for your team to respond. I think they did that in a big way, and it wasn't just the top guys, and it wasn't just, Tatum had to go off for 30-plus points. I mean, he didn't have a great shooting night, but he found ways to be effective. He found ways to fill the stat sheet and get to the free throw line. I mean, the team as a whole, they really outscored the Bulls in that statistical category of getting to the free throw line, and it showed. I mean, DeRozan was flirting with the 50-piece, and this game was out of reach. It seemed like, at least in that last minute. It got a little interesting towards the end, but the Celtics, you got to give them a whole lot of credit for that.
Big Brown to White shot secures the lead with a 2-point lead, and then we mentioned the Tatum offensive rebound and free throws that helped secure this win as well. So starters come in, get the job done. Bench holds those leads. Celtics never trail in the second half, and now have the best field goal percentage and three-point percentage for a second unit. Middle of the pack scoring, but overall 5th in plus-minus for their bench at a plus 19. Celtics moving on to New York. Josue and I will be there, so stay with us. We're brought to you by com.com/garden. Gets you 40% off a premium subscription. Go check them out, as well as athleticgreens.com/garden. 5 free travel packs of their great powder, bunch of vitamins, minerals, and more, as well as a immune-boosting vitamin D. What better way to use a travel pack than on the road? New York tomorrow. Josue and I, we're hitting the road. Knicks, join us post-game on CLNS Media, Celtics All Access, as well as the post-game press conferences. And you can check out tonight's as well when you go subscribe over there on YouTube. Good night, everyone.